Scary Movie. We have all heard of it, the shitty Wayans Brothers horror parody that takes everything serious from our favorite horror movies and turns it into straight bullshit. Of course, we all love it though, considering it went on to have 5 other movies and become the biggest parody movie in all of the horror genre. Still, I think it doesn't get the recognition it deserves, which is why in today's video, I want to talk more about this movie. Talk not only about how comedy gold this shit is, but also how it influenced great parodies to come after it. Also, how Doofy is the only Ghostface to never get caught, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, without further ado, I think we should just get straight into it. Scary Movie is, as a horror fan, one of my favorite comedies ever. Honestly, if the horror genre didn't exist, comedy would be my comfort, deadass. I don't think Scary Movie is the reason why, but definitely a big part of why I love parodies specifically. As I'm sure most of you guys probably don't know though, there was a parody before Scary Movie technically. And that movie is called Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. Probably a jump scare for most of you, but hold your balls, let me explain what this is. Basically, this movie, which we'll call Shriek for short, was actually the first horror parody ever, if I'm not mistaken, since it was made before Scary Movie. And let me tell you, this movie was ass. Pretty sure it was like a 4 out of 10 rated on IMDb, and honestly can't say I'm surprised. This movie, luckily, came out after Scary Movie for whatever reason. I'm happy about this because if Shriek came out before Scary Movie, the horror parody comedies probably would have gotten a bad rep because of how shitty this movie is. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that Scary Movie isn't technically the first horror parody. The reason I wanted to mention that is because even though it's not the first, Scary Movie managed to make this unoriginal idea into something that seemed like it was all it. I mean, it's a parody, so it wasn't really original in the first place, but whatever. Like I was saying, even being an unoriginal idea for a horror parody, not coming at the Wayans, but still, they managed to make it into something amazing. You guys probably won't believe it when I tell you this, but I actually saw Scary Movie before Scream. I know. What the hell, Ty? You're the biggest loser cuck dumbass ever and a fake horror fan. I was like 10, and this was the only free movie on streaming at the time, so I don't want to hear shit. But yeah, I saw Scary Movie first, and yeah, like I said, I was 10. I had no business watching this movie in 5th grade, but I found it funny as hell, even then when I was too young to understand any of the jokes, so that's how you know it was good. And if you're wondering if it ruined Scream for me, it did not, because to this day, Scream is my favorite horror movie and overall franchise of all time. Now, I don't bring this up just to say the movie is good, I bring it up to say how highly underrated it is just as a parody. Obviously, people recognize it as a comedy, but the horror aspect, I feel like people forget. The only horror aspect you could say people remember and still love to this day is the "What's Up Ghostface" meme. You guys know the "What's up"? No? Alright, I guess the joke didn't land properly. Which, if you haven't noticed, the "What's Up Ghostface" is my profile picture. But yeah, like I said, highly underrated as a horror parody. Let me explain why. First off, the movie was almost entirely horror-centered, so I don't know how people managed to fucking forget. I mean, pretty much every scene was meant to be funny, but still. Maybe that's just me speaking as a horror fan, but I don't know. I feel like it was also just crazy how a lot of people, to this day, get Scream and Scary Movie mixed up. People don't even get it mixed up. They just say that Scary Movie is where Ghostface is from. No offense to these people, but if you still get Scary Movie and Scream mixed up in the big, massive, gigantic 2026, you don't deserve to watch either of those masterpieces. I don't know if it's what they were going for, but to make such a good horror parody making fun of all types of horror movies, not just Scream, it must suck to only get confused with Scream, or just get confused with any horror movie at all. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that considering how some people are still doing it. I also want to mention how much shit happened in this movie. I didn't realize it at the time, when I was 10 by the way, but this movie was really just all over the place. I mean, they were obviously mainly parodying Scream, so it was easy to keep up with the sequencing and plot, but wow, did a lot of shit happen. Even if we're talking about the characters alone instead of the actual movie, we got a dumbass who's high all the time, his dumbass sister who for some reason is dating a closeted homosexual, and then the main character Cindy is also dumb as hell. I guess that was the point, for everybody to be dumb, but if I'm being honest, characters in horror movies are already dumb enough, so I feel like they could have took it back just a notch. But the characters were lively and made me laugh like hell the whole time, so I guess it doesn't matter. Then we get into the actual movie. Ghostface kills everyone in the most unique ways I've ever seen. Most of the kills he didn't even get. They just did it themselves from being so dumb. And the kills he did actually get himself were done treacherously. He murked like 6 motherfuckers, including Shorty, while literally just freestyling. He wasn't even trying to kill them, and somehow still caught 6 bodies. Which, if you think about it, is already more kills than most Ghostfaces get in their movies. Not to slander my GOAT, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. Also want to mention something I said I would mention earlier in the video. Doofy, while he appears dumb in this movie, is the smartest Ghostface of all time. Either that or the friend group was just dumb as hell this time around. Either way, he's still the only Ghostface to never get caught, so I guess either way you look at it, it's a win-win for him. First off, like I said, he caught I think the most bodies in Scary Movie that any Ghostface has ever caught in any Scream movie. Considering it's not even part of the franchise, that's a massive accomplishment. And again, he never got caught. While every other Ghostface was revealing themselves and ultimately getting their head bashed in, Doofy was somehow getting away with everything, even though he did it the most sloppy. I mean, Cindy threw a piano at bro. If that's not a sloppy chase, I do not know what is. Also, he fell like 47 times in this movie. Every Ghostface I feel like has fell at least once, but he definitely did it the most. If you really think about it, Doofy, the guy who faked having autism, is the best Ghostface of all time. And that's just one more reason to love Scary Movie and back up my claim of how highly underrated it is as a horror parody. But yeah guys, as you can probably tell from everything I explained in this video, Scary Movie is not only the funniest horror parody of all time, but it is also highly underrated in terms of horror. I feel like people don't acknowledge it as a horror-centered movie as much as they should. And if you're one of those people, please fix your attitude. I do not fucking like it. So yes, to sum up everything I explained in this video, Scary Movie is GOATed and just a highly underrated movie. Also, one more time for good measures. Hold on, let me prep. What's up? But yeah guys, I think that's gonna have to conclude today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please feel free and do not feel afraid to glaze me in the comments. Follow the Twitch, follow the TikTok, follow the IG. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.